Today, we'll be going over every single team that's playing in the Europa League and a little bit more in depth about them and predicting where they will finish in the table. So let's get straight into it. Apologies if I'm a little bit quiet because it's literally like almost 11 p.m. and some people are sleeping in the house. So in the 36th, I have Go Ahead Eagles. Now, I've never heard about this team before, but they are a team playing in the Eredivisie, currently in 11th place in their respective league this season so far. And their form recently has been pretty decent, like they got a 2-2 draw against Ajax, but yeah, I have them in like 36th place. I don't think they will do that well. Now in 35th, I have Panathinaikos. Probably butchered that, but oh well, it's been a rough start for them in the Greek league, sitting in 12th place at the moment, which is quite crazy, especially with the quality they have. They have Tete, Calabria, and also Renato Sanchez. I haven't seen that guy since his Bayern days. It's crazy, but I could see them finishing fairly low in the league phase, and I think they will actually struggle. And in 34th place, I have FCSB, another team not having the best start to the league, sitting in 11th place at the moment in the relegation round. Crazy stuff. Being in form, they are at the moment, they're out of form with 1 win, 4 draws, and 4 losses. And I believe they will continue this kind of form and bring it into the Europa League. Hence why I put them 34th place. I mean, it could be quite a challenge for them, but let's see what happens once they get into that first game and how they do along the campaign. Now in 33rd place, I have Celta Vigo, which might be a pretty surprising placement, but they have started their season horribly, sitting in 14th place in the La Liga, which surprised me a lot. They were doing quite well last game I saw them, but I guess things have gone a little bit downhill, haven't they? But they just don't have a single win this season, which is rough. They could carry that into the Europa League as well and maybe crash out early. Who knows? Well, there's no crashing out early in the league phase, but I see them finishing in 33rd place, quite low in the table. Now in 32nd place, we have Victoria Plzeň. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this team was a Polish team, but it's a Czech team. They're doing pretty decent so far this season, sitting in 4th place in the respective league. I still think they will struggle in the Europa League. They have one specific player that stands out to me. That's Matej Vidra. I believe he is a player who used to play for Burnley, so he could bang quite a few goals, I think, in the Europa League. So he has Premier League experience. I think this team's gonna be quite underwhelming. On 31st place, we have Young Boys. Now, this is a team we see every single year in European competition. So far this season, they're doing pretty decent, sitting in 4th place at the moment. So maybe things might change this season, but I still think they will struggle to score goals in the Europa League. Like last season, I believe they finished almost dead last, and before that they finished dead last in the Champions League. Last time they were in the Champions League. Then in 30th we have Utrecht. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure where this team is from, or originally I was not sure, but I found out that they are from Netherlands. They're doing fairly alright in the league, sitting in 6th place at the moment, which is quite decent. This is actually their first time, I believe, in 15 years being in European competition. That's quite crazy. Moving on to 29th, we have SK Sturm Graz. I recognize them from the Champions League last season. Being in the Europa League is still pretty good for them. I think they could do alright in this competition, but might struggle a little bit as well. Hence why I put them in the 29th spot. Maybe they will prove me wrong. We will only find out with time. And in 28th, we have Genk. I've not seen Genk around for a while, honestly, probably due to them not playing in Europe last season. They are back this season, looking a little bit iffy throughout their season so far. They're looking to be struggling a little bit as well, sitting in 10th place in the Belgian league, which is very rough, but maybe they could make a push in Europe despite their league form. In 27th, we have Malmo. Now, I believe this is a Swedish team. The only reason I know that is because Ibra used to play for them, or Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I'm sure you guys know who that is, but they have started the season not too bad, sitting in 5th place in the league table, which is not too bad. Robin Olsen, who used to play for Aston Villa, actually plays for them now. Quite crazy. I believe he was at Aston Villa like last season. But yeah, we could see them finishing in 27th place. I think that's quite reasonable for them. 26th place, we have Nice. Now, they're not doing too well. They're actually sitting in 9th place in the league, but they have like 2 players that we might recognize and could make a difference in the team, with the likes of Dante, who used to play at Bayern for multiple seasons, multiple years in his career, and Ndombele, who used to play for, I think he played for Lyon, he played for Spurs, has moved around quite a bit, but those 2 players could be key for this team. Now in 25th place, I have SC Freiburg. So it's been a rough start to the season for them, sitting in 13th place at the moment in the league. I would consider them quite a decent team, but their form as of recent has been a little bit shaky. Due to that, I could see them finishing around the 25th position. Now in 24th, we have Rangers. We have seen Rangers be in the Europa League often, but they're doing quite horribly for their standards this season, sitting in 10th place in the league, which is insane. I remember they were walking the Scottish League a few years ago, and yeah, that was under, I believe, Steven Gerrard. But yeah, those times are kind of gone now. Asgard is a talent coming off scoring a hat-trick with Norway from the international break, so that's huge. This guy is looking like a great talent. And in 23rd, we have Braga. I've not heard of this team for a while in Europe. In their league, they're actually sitting 7th place at the moment. They missed out on European football last season, but they are back and they should be exciting to watch, because I'm not really sure how they will play, how they will set up, but that's something we will find out in this competition once the game starts. Now in 22nd, we have Maccabi Tel Aviv. This is the first time I'm hearing about this team, a team from the Israel League, sitting in 2nd place in that league, which is good, but I've not seen them play at all, so if I even watch a match from this team, I doubt it, but we'll see how they play from the highlights or something that I watch. I think this team will finish like 22nd place out of all teams. This one might be a controversial one. In 21st, we have Real Betis. I've seen this team in Europe last season. They actually did pretty decent. I would say they lost the Conference League final to Chelsea 4-1, which is crazy. Did not expect the score to be that high, but Anthony, I believe, is back on a permanent deal, which the fans absolutely love him, especially after his loan for only a couple of months or the whole season. He was doing so well over there. The fans like treat him like a legend, even though he was there for just a little bit of time. But I think they will do decent this season again, and 21st place might be a little bit rough, but that's where I put them. And in 20th place, we have PAOK. I think that's how you say it or you pronounce it. But a team coming from the Greek league, sitting in the 3rd position in their league, and they're actually unbeaten at the moment. They are the only Greek team with more wins than losses in their European record. I'm very interested to see how this team will set up and how they will play, because many of these teams I have not seen them play, so we're gonna have to get like a first glimpse of them. Now in 19th place, we have Ferencváros. I believe we saw Ferencváros in the Club World Cup. They did fairly decent in that tournament. They lost out on Champions League football because of a 5-4 aggregate loss to Karabag. Now that's a very tough one to take, but I'm sure they will do fairly well in the Europa League. I think they did pretty decent in the Club World Cup, so that kind of proves that they are kind of a pretty decent team. Moving into 18th place, now I put Brann. I've never heard about Brann before, honestly. It's the first time I'm hearing about them, and I did some research, and they're a team from Norway, sitting in 3rd place in their league, which is pretty solid. They qualified for the first time, I believe, since 1973-74 season, which is crazy. That's history made right there. I might be wrong there, but I think that stat is right there. In 17th place, we have Ludogorets. I've seen this team around European competitions a few times, coming in from the Bulgarian league, which is quite crazy, sitting in 2nd place as well in their league, which is solid, remaining unbeaten there, which is a good way to transition into the Europa League. So I could see them doing fairly well and finishing in 17th place in the league phase. Now moving on to 16th, I have Basel. Another team being back in the Europa League. Last time Basel were in European football was in the 23-24 season. And they're doing actually pretty decent in their league, placing in 3rd place at the moment. Sherdan Shaqiri actually plays for this team. I actually did not know he transferred from Chicago Fire back to Basel. I believe this is where his career kind of started. But yeah, that's great for him. In 15th, we have Celtic. We have seen Celtic in European competitions the past few seasons. Last season, they were in the Champions League and they struggled quite a bit, I would say. They have started their campaign well in the league. I believe they're undefeated and in 1st place at the moment. So I think that form will carry into the Europa League and maybe they could finish higher than 15th. Probably will. I might have put them a little bit too low, but I could see them finishing in 15th as well. And in 14th, I have Sverna Zvezda. Sverna Zvezda have been around European competitions the past few seasons. I believe last season they were in the Champions League, and let's just say it did not go too well for them. I think they will do better in the Europa League, as it's kind of like possibly a drop in level. I think they could finish definitely like maybe top 10 even, who knows. But let's see how they just go into the competition, how they set up, how they play, and if they get the right results. In 13th, we have Midtjylland. I probably butchered that, but we have seen this team be in and around European football recently. I would consider them quite a underrated team at the moment in their league. They are 3rd place, which is pretty decent, and Philip Billing actually plays for this club now, moving from Bournemouth to Midtjylland, and I think he will be a key player in that midfield for this team. Now in 12th place, we have Bologna. This placement might be a controversial one because Bologna have been stinking it up in the Serie A. I'm not gonna lie, sitting in 13th place at the moment compared to, what was it? The first time they qualified for Champions League was 2 seasons ago, but I believe they could do something here in the Europa League. They have talents like Immobile. I did not even know Immobile signed for Bologna. Bernardeschi going from Toronto FC to Bologna, and many more players as well. So they have definitely some talents and some proper goal scorers in there. In 11th place, I put Olympique Lyon. This could be yet another controversial one. Lyon have been in and around Europe as well. Last season they had a solid run in the competition, reaching the quarterfinals in the Europa League. They were actually at risk of getting relegated and not getting into Europe as well due to financial issues, but the appeal they made was successful, so they remain in the Europa League and in the League On. I believe in the League On they're like 3rd or 4th place, which is pretty good considering they lost Cherki, who's been one of their most important players from last season. Moving on to 10th place, we have Stuttgart. This could be a team that does quite decent, even though they have started the Bundesliga season in 12th place. They did lose Nick Woltmade, a very talented striker, to Newcastle, but I believe players like Angelo Stiller, Undav can help them out as well, so I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on Stuttgart. They could be maybe a underrated team. Now in 9th place, I have RB Salzburg. I just have this feeling that RB Salzburg will do well. Usually they do struggle in the Champions League, but here I think they will get a high placement in the league phase. They have a striker in Karim Konate, who I've heard is a very complete striker, a player who we should look out for in this competition, so definitely keep an eye on him. And in the 8th place, we have a Dynamo Zagreb. Yet another one that could be controversial, but I believe Dynamo Dynamo Zagreb could finish high in the table. Currently they're sat at the top of the Croatian league, starting off well, and they usually are decent at the Champions League level, but here in the Europa League level I could see them absolutely flourish and do well. Moving on to 7th, I have Fenerbahce. I feel like Fenerbahce is always the underrated team in Europe. They always seem to perform well in the Europa League or even Champions League. Mourinho actually got sacked as they did not get Champions League football, so this could turn on their head completely because Mourinho is a pretty decent manager. He's taken Porto to a Champions League title, and he could have taken Fenerbahce to a European title as well, but yeah, I have a feeling this could turn completely on its head. But they have quality like Ederson and a new signing as a keeper. They have Duran, who's a pretty good goal scorer, Asensio, a creator. He could also bang goals as well from time to time. So yeah, 7th place, I think it's pretty reasonable for Fenerbahce. Now in 6th place, I put Aston Villa. In my opinion, Aston Villa should be easily amongst the top of the table. They did do alright last season in the Champions League, but so far this season they are struggling. They have not scored a single goal in the Premier League yet. Like, that's a big yikes. Sitting in 19th place is insane. But Unai Emery, he always performs in European competitions, in my opinion, so I think he will manage to turn this around, and yeah, I think they will finish like high in the table. Now in 5th place we have Lille. Throughout the years this team has been quite underrated. Last season in the Champions League they did finish well and they finished 7th place, and now they have Giroud, who seems to be banging goals for them in place of Jonathan David, and Ethan Mbappe was doing decent as well. And right now in the Ligue 1 they're actually 2nd place behind PSG, which is a very good placement so far. But they did lose Jonathan David, as I said, to Juventus, so that's a big loss because normally he does score a high amount of goals in European competitions. And in 4th place we have Feyenoord. Feyenoord have always been a underrated team, so most times they are in the Europa League they do well, but this season I'm expecting them to do the same thing, honestly, considering they are 5-0, so 5 wins out of 5 matches in the Eredivisie, and they're at sat 1st place. And I believe they have like 10 goal difference, so they probably conceded 0 goals and have scored 10. But Quinton Timber is a baller, just like his brother Jurriën Timber, who plays for Arsenal. But yeah, this team is very underrated. I could see them finishing amongst the top like 6 or 4. Now in 3rd place we have Porto. Porto is one of those teams that I believe will do well. Last season they did not do too well. They lost to Roma early on, which is rough, but they brought in a new signing in Luke de Jong, who signed this summer. Even at his age, he is a proper number 9, proper goal scorer. But they also have Diogo Costa, one of the best young keepers in the world, both for Portugal and Porto. I'm surprised no one has picked him up yet, like no big club, but this is a quite underrated team, I would say, coming into the Europa League. Now in 2nd place we have Nottingham Forest. Having Nottingham Forest here might be a surprise, especially since they sacked Nuno Espirito Santo. They have Angie now, but I think he will have them playing a more attacking style of football and a more of a high line, because under Espirito Santo he had them playing in a low block, and they were amongst the best defense in the Premier League. But that might change now, and they might have a change in play style. But so much quality though in that team, with Igor Jesus, Ndoye, Chris Wood, Douglas Luiz is there, Callum Hudson-Odoi is still there. I mean, surely they get amongst the top of the table. Now in 1st place, this one might be quite controversial, is Roma. I have Roma at 1st place, but they have got Gasperini in as the manager, so he has experience in Europe. He has done well in the Champions League, and he's won the Europa League as well with Atalanta before. So he has Dybala in his squad. He has Ferguson coming from Brighton, Dovbyk as well, who scored a load of goals for Girona. I mean, under his coaching, this could be very dangerous. Those 3 players right there, they could literally pop off. I think this team will be a force in the league phase, and I think they will finish at the top. If they don't, you could clown on me all you want, bro. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. It was quite a long one, but if you made it to the end, thank you so much. Don't forget to drop a like, comment down below all your predictions for the Europa League. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.